Thank you. Today is an important day. 45 years ago in my hometown of Gdansk, solidarity was born after the Great Strike. This is the most important experience in my life so far. The strike of shipyard workers, and later the construction of solidarity. We are not here to celebrate the anniversary, but dear Ursula, Mr. President, I have chosen this place, in accordance with your suggestion, to show what modern solidarity is about today. For us back then, 45 years ago, solidarity was a great dream of independence. It was a great movement whose task was also to connect Europe and to distance ourselves from the evil world, from the then empire of evil. And this border is today just as important as our dream of liberation from the Soviet domination was. In fact, for decades it has been exactly the same. We are here at the barrier that protects Poland and Europe from the hybrid war declared by Belarus and Russia from illegal migration. This is not any migration. This is organized by Lukashenko and Putin and their groups of people whose task is to physically attack the Polish and European borders. But today we also talked about other installations on the Polish border, as well as on the European border, about the Eastern Shield, which is supposed to protect Poland and Europe from possible Russian aggression. Just like 45 years ago, just like today, Poland and Poles take on with full conviction this great task, which is to maintain independence, but also the security and independence of the entire Western world. The threat from the Soviet Union, today from Russia, has the same character. The war is not far from here. This place has an additional symbolic load. Tomorrow we celebrate the anniversary of the outbreak of the most tragic war, the Second World War. It is not far from here. German troops, Hitler's troops, met in a brotherly embrace with the Soviet troops. When Germany and Russia attacked Poland and when the Second World War began, this place teaches us all what solidarity is, what treachery is, what security means, how priceless freedom and independence are, and how important it is for us today, as the European Union, as NATO, as the entire West, to learn from these Polish experiences. For the whole world to learn from this history of solidarity, from this tragic history, which had such a spectacular character here. For the whole world, seeing our preparations, our great Polish effort to stop the threat from the East, for the whole world to adequately take care of it. There is no doubt, and the Ukrainian war and the last weeks and days show it very clearly, that no concessions, no subtle game with Putin and aggressive Russia will lead to success. It does not guarantee us security. Poland, Europe, NATO, the United States must again, as in the past, as 45 years ago, we felt the support of the entire West when solidarity was created, must also today be very tough, determined, solidary towards this next version of the empire of evil. Enough concessions. We must be tough and well prepared for it. Poland is preparing well, and the European Union and personally Mrs. President are also here to find arguments, to convince everyone in Europe that this border is a border that we must guard, that we must invest in, also European money. Today is not the best place and the best time to talk about money, but I am glad that defense programs on arms production, programs on cooperation of EU member states when it comes to the defense of borders and territory, that they are financed primarily by the European Union, and that the entire Union sees that this is the central place, This is the most important problem to solve. And therefore financing infrastructure, support for arms production of countries on this potential front line. I know that you visit not only Poland but also these countries, fortunately not front line yet, but this front is not far from us. That you visit to show that the European Union as a whole takes responsibility for the security of the border, for the financing of many activities related to the defense and security possibilities of the European Union, including the Polish border and Polish territory. The SAFE program, but also other European programs are billions of euros. Poland expects very serious participation in these programs. We apply for tens of billions of euros, and we talk about it without complexes. We do not ask anyone for anything, because in this matter no one does anyone a favor. Next year we will invest our 200 billion zlotys in defense, in the defense industry, in the Polish army. So we take our duties seriously and expect from everyone in Europe, from all institutions and states, equally serious treatment of the issue of security of the eastern border and this tough position towards the aggressor and towards Russia. We are ready for such an action as we were. We are today, we will be ready tomorrow. Thank you for your support. Dear Ursula, your understanding of these matters has surpassed many minds in Europe. I have to confirm it here again. Our very good cooperation with the European Commission in times when you are its boss is also due to the fact that we understand exactly the same. Threats and chances. I am glad that your presence here in such a specific place. As at the press conference of the European Commission's boss, but your presence confirms that this is a European priority today. A safe Poland, a safe border. This is a safe Europe and safe European borders. Once again, thank you for your determination in this matter, and for the potential billions that we will allocate to our common security.
Pani Przewodnicząca, bardzo proszę.
Yes, thank you so much, Donald. Thank you very much for welcoming me here in Poland. And indeed, you're right, today is a very special day for you and your country. 45 years ago, a wind of change swept through Poland. A wind strong enough to crack the concrete of communism. Solidarność was born, as you just described, and it marked a turning point indeed, not only for Poland but for the democratic world, that set Poland on its path towards our European Union. So my warmest wishes to you and to the Polish people on this very important day. Dear Donald, I'm here today also to express Europe's full solidarity with Poland as a frontline state. For years now, you and the Polish people have been facing deliberate and cynical hybrid attacks. And I want to emphasize that Europe stands with you in all possible ways. And that is why, if we take a long-term look on our proposal of the new modern European Union budget, the next 7-year budget, we are tripling the investment in migration and border management and protection. Member states with a direct border with Russia and Belarus will receive additional European funding, because I want to emphasize again that Europe's borders are a shared responsibility. And here we are at a Polish border, but we are also at a European border, and it is a shared responsibility. We have also proposed a 10-fold increase in funding for military mobility and overall a 5-fold increase in defense investment. This is the long-term budget that has a very clear and strong focus and emphasis on defense, on military mobility and on border protection. But of course, we have to bridge the time till the long-term next budget is in place. and we need now a surge in defense investment. And that leads me to the task that we have now to fulfill. First, there's the topic of financial support. And indeed, dear Donald, it was under your presidency, the Polish presidency, that we agreed on our 800 billion euro defense investment plan. This 800 billion euros can be invested and should be invested till 2030. You helped also to fast-track the joint procurement instrument that we call SAFE. It is 150 billion euros for joint procurement to make our home stronger, to make our union more safe. And today we see the result. 19 countries have already applied for SAFE. Poland is among them. So the instrument is fully, the 150 billion euros are fully subscribed, and Poland will be the biggest beneficiary of this common investment for joint procurement. So on one hand, we have to care for our own defense posture. We can use the 150 billion of SAFE for our own joint procurement, our own defense, strengthening of our own defense industrial base. But it can also be used to invest in the Ukrainian defense industrial base, because we know that it is for us paramount that Ukraine stays strong and that our neighborhood stays strong and protected. Then there's a second element that under your presidency we agreed, and that is the flexibility of the budget. Poland is already a top spender in Europe, but you requested the flexibility of your budget, and yes, it is granted like for other 15 member states. So it is important that we have now a surge in investment, that we invest better, that we invest together, that we invest European. And therefore, it is not only a question of financing, but it is also a question of coordination, of European approach. So that all Europeans understand now and over the next years that we need to stay consistent and determined in investing in our defense posture. We have to keep this sense of urgency because we know that Putin has not changed and will not change. He is a predator. In the last 25 years, he started 4 wars: Chechnya, Georgia, Crimea, and the full-blown invasion in Ukraine. We know by experience that he can only be kept in check through strong deterrence, and therefore we have to be coordinated, precise, and fast with the surge of our defense posture in the European Union and specifically in the frontline state. That is the reason why in the next weeks we will prepare a roadmap how to invest the additional defense money in the European Union in our defense posture. We will analyze the gaps we have in the European Union and how to fill them by 2030 with targets, with milestones, because only what gets measured gets done. And we will discuss this in the European Council, informal European Council, at the beginning of October under the Danish presidency. Let me finish my statement with a wider view to our neighborhood, and that is the security guarantees for Ukraine. Indeed, as we understand that we have to be strong in our defense posture here, that we have to invest in the protection of our borders, but also in military capabilities and in well-equipped, well-trained armed forces, the same goes for security guarantees for Ukraine. The first line of defense in Ukraine is a strong Ukrainian army. I often compare it with a steel porcupine that should be indigestible for potential invaders. The second line of defense is a multinational group, the coalition of the willing, with the backstop of the Americans. And then the third and most important line of defense is, of course, our own defense posture, and not to forget the work on Ukraine's membership in the European Union. Prime Minister, dear Donald, I want to thank you again for the invitation. I want to thank you for the Polish leadership in showing how courage, determination, but also knowledge about our history and what we can learn from it comes together in a very concrete action to protect not only the Polish border, but to protect the European border, thus not only protect the Polish people, but to protect the Europeans and, as you've said, the whole democratic world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ursula. Ja tylko dwie uwagi, jeśli Państwo jeszcze pozwolicie, droga Ursulo. Jest z nami też komisarz do spraw obrony, Andrius Kubilius, nasz serdeczny przyjaciel. Znamy się od wielu, wielu lat w czasie Twojej litewskiej aktywności politycznej i teraz europejskiej. Zawsze byłeś rzecznikiem naszej bliskiej współpracy na rzecz obrony. Mieliśmy zawsze też pełną świadomość, skąd płynie zagrożenie, gdzie są prawdziwi przyjaciele, także dziękuję także za Twoją obecność tutaj, zrozumiałą. Wiadomo, że musimy też koordynować, jak powiedziała Pani Przewodnicząca, współpracę wszystkich państw, które są graniczą z tymi potencjalnymi państwami agresorami. No i druga rzecz, może Państwo nie zauważyli, ale jak tutaj zmierzaliśmy z Panią Przewodniczącą w to miejsce, otrzymaliśmy informacje i rekomendacje od ochrony, żeby jednak zrezygnować z konferencji albo przesunąć gdzieś miejsce konferencji, bo pojawili się tam białoruscy żołnierze z długą bronią. No i pytam Pani Przewodniczącej, co na NATO, czy jest gotowa jednak uczestniczyć w tej konferencji w tym miejscu i usłyszałem te słowa, jakie chciałem usłyszeć i dla nas tu w Polsce oczywiste. Zero ustępstw, nie ma nikt nas tutaj nie będzie straszył ani niepokoił. Jesteśmy tu po to także, żeby pokazać tę prawdziwą europejską determinację. Także dziękuję także za ten gest, on wcale nie jest taki częsty. No i przeżyliśmy. Dziękuję bardzo.
Dziękujemy Państwu bardzo.
Thank you.